Okay, hello, wonderful people. Once again, this is Mr. Ndabezita, and we are on our second tutorial in Visual Studio. So this is where we left off. We looked at the introduction where we created a person class and we differentiated between private and public members. So this time we are going to look at the this keyword. Very good. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to go inside of this class and I'm going to erase everything in here. So in other words, I'm going to create a new class which I will call a rectangle. So I'm going to have a class, and I'm going to call this class a rectangle. Very good. So I'll just say end class in there just to keep track of where our class begin and where it ends. So inside of this class, I'm going to have two private fields, a width and a height, because a rectangle has a width and a height. So I'm going to say they will be of type int. So I'm going to say int, give it a name underscore width just to show that it is private, and secondly I'm going to have an int and height, and they are both private. Remember, we dealt with this in our first tutorial in the introduction. And then secondly, I'm going to have a set for the width and for the height. I'm not going to have a get. I'm just going to have a set for them. So I'm going to say, okay, that's fine. Set, it will return void, and I'm going to call that a width. Very good. And then it will be of type int, and I'll just call it a width. So very important that we understand this. So I'm going to use the fat arrow in there. We have this in Visual Studio Code, and I'm just going to say the width. Very good. It's equals to the width that will be passed in. But remember, I said we will be looking at the this keyword. So let me come here and show you this. Let me use a small w there, and I'm going to say this one is set width, and I'm going to use the very same name as the name of the private member. So I'm going to do this. Very important. And then when I am in here, I want to show you something. When I say underscore width, very good. Now we are going to have some problems in here. And what would be causing some problems? Now, if I press in here, do you see nothing references to the private member? Because it cannot differentiate exactly what I'm trying to do there. Now, to show the difference, I am going to use the this keyword. Now, the this, you just come here and you say, you just say this, this dot, and the this. Now if I hover over here, you see it references to the private member, and it references to the argument that you will pass in when you set the width. So we use the this keyword if we are having the same name as the name of the private member with the same name as the name of the field that has to be passed in. So to differentiate between the two, we use the this keyword. The this keyword will reference to the current object instance, meaning when you create an instance of a rectangle and you set the width, that would refer to this member, and this one will reference to the argument that you will pass in there. And even when we press here, you can see that you can differentiate. So if we are using the same names and we want to differentiate between what goes to the private field and what goes to the argument, we just use the this keyword. That's exactly what you use it for. So that's fine. We have set the width and we have provided the value for that, and I can just copy this and paste, and I'm going to set now the height, and I'm not going to use the this keyword this time. I'm just going to say height in there, and then in here I don't have to use the this keyword because the names are not the same. So I'm going to say in here underscore height, it's equals to the height that was passed in, and when you hover over here it references to that one, and when you press in here it references to this one. So we don't have a problem with that. We are very much fine. Now, okay, we are able to set the width, we are also able to set the height, and then let's just have a method that returns double, which calculates the area for us. So I'm going to come here and just say double, and I'm going to call this area, and it is a method that accepts no argument, and all it does is to calculate the area for us. So in here I'm just going to return, and I know how to calculate the area of a rectangle. You just take in the underscore length. So I'm going to use the private member because I'm in here. Height. So you can take the height or you can start with the width. Remember, this is multiplication, the order does not matter. So I'm going to say underscore height, and I'm going to multiply that by underscore width, and that should be enough to return for me the area of that. Very, very important. And then what else are we going to do there? So I can also calculate the perimeter, because a rectangle has a perimeter. So I can just say let me just say int, and I can just say perimeter. It's a method that accepts no argument, and it returns the perimeter would be 2 multiplied by the underscore length. Let's see if that would work. So we want not the length, the width plus the height. Very good. So this would calculate the parameter for me, because it's 2 times the width plus 2 times the height. So I took out a common factor of 2, just width plus height. So this would be a formula for calculating the parameter. And then I can just have a method that returns void, that prints data for me, and we can just do the following. So in our printout there, I can just have a print, and this print, when I call the print, I want it to be able to print out for me. Okay, first of all, let me just have a print that just says for me length, and then it would just print out the, let me not say the length, I don't know why length is so much in my mind. Let's say width, and it will print out for me the width there. Very good. and I think I should have used multi-line string, but okay, that's fine. Let me just leave it. Let me also say print, and it would print for me the height, and I would just have my height. Very good, there it is. And then what else do I want to do now? Now I think I can calculate an area now. So what I can do there, I can just come in here and say declare a variable double area, and I can say this is equals, how do I do this? Let me say this dot area. Very good. And when I am done with that, let me just also have a double. Let me call this parameter, which will be equals to this, sorry, this dot parameter in there. Very good. So it would specify for me the width and the height, and it will calculate for me inside of this method. I have a variable double area, which is this, and a double parameter, which is also equals to that. So with the area and the parameter, I think I can come here and I can just say the print, and I can say area, and I can just say area there. Very good. And I can say again print, and I can say parameter, and I can say the parameter for me there. Very good. So when I invoke the print data, it will print out for me the width and the height. It will calculate for me the area, it will specify the area and also the parameter. So here I can say area and say maybe the area it's whatever units squared. Very good. And in here I can just say units, because area is in units squared and parameter is just in units. So this is just something that I can do there. And then I can go into the main and get rid of all this. Still have my import, everything it's well. So what I can do is to create an instance of a rectangle. So I can say rectangle, there it is, and I'm going to call this a rectangle equals it's equals to a rectangle. Very good. A default constructor will be created for us, and it looks like we are in problem. Let me just save all. Okay, the colors should change there. So let me check very well if the names are the same. A rectangle, okay, a rectangle, everything seems to be fine, but we are going to have some problem. If I say rectangle dot, right, what is it that I should do in here? If you go inside in here I did not initialize this and that. And remember, how do we do this? Because of null safety, we have to say late, because we are leaving the scope, and also say late there, so that when we come in here, when I say rectangle dot, and I think I have a property in there which is called set width, so I can come here and just use the dot, and I can say set. You see, I'm having some problems. Right, okay, let me just save all, rectangle dot. Let's see what we can do in here. It seems like we don't have access to these things. All right, that's fine. Let me just do the following. Let me just go to the debug console, and let me just try to run this and see what we can get. Right, here it is. Error: a value of type int can be returned from a function with a return type double. Okay, let's check this. Let's come in here. Right, so we have an int and we are returning a double there. So okay, that's fine. Let's change the modifier in there and say an int, just as we had an int there. Right, and then in here also let's say an int, and then in here also let's just say an int. Right, and then from there let's get back to the main and let's try to run this. Right, and then it says this expression has type void and can't be used. Int parameter, it has a type void. Very good. So we have a void in there, and it, oh sorry, this one, let's see. It says this expression has type void and can't be used. Which one? Int parameter. So it has a type void there. Okay, why should that be the problem? Int parameter this dot print data. Okay, let me check. Even if I don't use this, I don't think that should be a problem. Okay, let's go back and let's try to run this. This expression has type void and can't be used in parameter print data. Okay, sorry, let me come here. So let me check. What is it that we can do there? There seems to be some problem in here. So these are the problems. These are the problems that we are having there. So let me not have them in here, please. let's just get rid of all this, because when we call in the area and the parameter, we will be able to add those units for ourselves. So let's just leave it for now. When we print data, let's just print in the width and the height. And as for those that I have removed, I'll show you how we can do it just to work on this. So let me go back to the main and just run this. And everything seems to be working just fine. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to say rectangle dot, and there should be a method there that says set, I think it's width. I don't know whether the spelling is correct. Let me just go and check. Yes, set width, and I'm going to set it to a value of 12, and I'm going to go again and say rectangle dot set height, and I'm also going to set it to a value of 11. Right, let me just check if the spelling is correct. Set height, very good. And remember what this is, it's a set and it accepts an argument. So in here, what I need to do, will it be correct if I do this and I say 11? Very good. And I come in here, because this is it accepts a value and argument. Let's make it like that. And now I'm going to come in here and say rectangle dot, I'm going to call in the print data method. Let's check if the spelling is correct. Print data, very, very important. So let's check if this is going to work. So let me just try to run this. The width is 12 and the height is 11. And when I say rectangle.print data, it seems not to be executed. And when I say print data, yes, there it is. This is the method. I have just set the width and the height, and then I invoke this method. So meaning I can come here and say rectangle dot, the method is called, let me check, parameter. Right, I can come here and say parameter, and I can come here. Remember, it's a method, very good. So it will just return a value. Let's check this. Okay, there seems to be no value for us there. Right, let's go and check this method. Int parameter, it accepts no arguments, and it should return a value. So we need to have this method inside of a print so that we can print that value that is inside there. So let me just come here and close it like this. Very, very important. So let's just run it again and check. And there it is, it returns a value for us. So we can come here and say units. We can just come in there, but we are going to have some problems in here. Why? Because this is a method. So what we can do, remember we are having this rectangle dot parameter, and it prints that out for us. So how do we include but let's leave it. No, let's just leave it. Let me just come here again and say print, and now I'm going to say rectangle dot, and let me just check the area method. Print area. Very good. So I'm just going to say area there. Remember, it's a method that returns void, and it will just print out the area for us. Let's just check, and there is your area. So is it possible that maybe we can just come in here, and what we can do there is instead of saying return an int, can we say return a string, or perhaps can we do the following? No, let me not even think about it. In here, can we do the following? Can we say print, and can we just say area plus units squared? Can we have something like this? And can we also say print parameter plus units? Can we have something like this? Is it possible? So that when we are in here, we can get rid of this, and we can just invoke this method. Is it possible? Can I save all and just press the run? And we are having a problem. A value of type string can be assigned to a variable of type num. Okay, so we are trying to create some problem in here. So what I can do there is I can I'm trying to find a very simplistic way of looking into this. Okay, if I say in here I will have to specify a return. That's the problem. I'm trying to find a way around this. So let me check what I can do there. What if I do this? Let me get rid of this. Is it possible for me to say print, and I will say area, and I will say area there plus units squared, and I can also say print, and I can say parameter, and I can say parameter in there units. Is this possible? Let's try and check. Let me try to run this, and everything seems to be okay. Area, let me check what has transpired now. Okay, let me check here. We have area, and I know this would return a number, and then I just have, oh, okay, let me just do that. Let me take it a little bit higher and check very closely. Let me just come here and just do that, because when I am here and I say, okay, let me do this and say area, there it is. This is one of the problems that we are having in here. Right, okay, let me do the following. After this method, let me have an int which I will call an area that would be equals to the area in there. Right, because an area returns an int, we will not have any problem with that. Now in the print in here, let me just say print, and I can say area, and I can just say area. Very good. And I can come here and say int, and I can say parameter equals parameter. Very good. And what if I come here and say print, and I just say parameter, and I just print out the parameter there. Let's see if this will work. Let me go back here. It will save automatically when you press this button. When we're having a problem, can't access this in a field initializer to read area. Int area equals that. Oof. Okay. Oof. Can't access this in a field initializer to read the parameter. Let me check in here. Everything seems to be working just fine. And in here we are having some problems. Okay, if I take this and I throw it inside of here, will it work? Let's try and check. And everything seems to be working just fine. So we have the area, which is 12 times 11, which is 132, and perimeter would be 12 plus 12 and 11 plus 11, that would give you 46. So everything seems to be working just fine. So remember, in coding, what we do in here, we do trial and error. We don't have to have everything perfect. We have to make these mistakes so that we learn exactly what transpires. So everything seems to be working well after a very long, tiring process. And I'm very happy that finally we have been able to find a way in which we can do that. So thanks a lot, guys, for watching. This is all, to be honest, what I just had and wanted to share with you. This is all what I wanted us to see. Remember, we were looking at this keyword, and when we have found this, I'm very much happy. And guys, I will see you in the next tutorial.